All right, if you don't know what NAB is, it's basically a convention in New York City at the Javits Center where all bunches of manufacturers come to show off their latest and greatest equipment in the world of filmmaking, whether it's broadcast, whether it's narrative filmmaking, or anything in between. Um, the big thing that we want to talk about is the Broadfield Pavilion at booth number 711. And the main reason is because they have so many of our manufacturers there. As you can see on this layout here, they have JVC, Kineview, Canon, YoloLive, Matrox, AVID, Adamos, Vizrt, Abson, PTZ Optics, LiveView, and BirdDog all in one booth right at the entrance. So this is a perfect booth to talk about. So if you do go to the NAB show, check out the Broadfield Pavilion at booth 711. So let's get to some of what we expect to see at NAB at the Broadfield Pavilion. Starting off with YoloLive. YoloLive has been teasing for the past 2 weeks or so a brand new YOLO box, the YOLO Box Extreme. Now this is an 8-input YOLO box. This is their biggest YOLO box ever. It's going to be 4K compatible. It's going to have 2 HDMI outs. It's going to be able to do ISO recording. It's going to be able to do NDI inputs. It's going to be able to do NDI outputs. And the really exciting thing is, for the first time ever in the United States, you will be able to see the YOLO Box Extreme on display, get your hands on it, play with it, and only at the Broadfield Pavilion at booth number 711. So very exciting to see that at Broadfield Pavilion. Next, I want to talk about Adamos. Adamos, we just did a show on this a couple weeks ago, and they're going to be showing off some of their new products, including but not limited to the Shinobi 2, which is their 5-inch monitor. The cool thing about the Shinobi 2 is it does have that USB control to be able to plug a USB-C into select cameras and be able to control the camera settings directly from the Shinobi 2's touchscreen. The Ninja phone, we've been talking about this a lot recently too. This is all of the great features of monitoring and recording that you would normally expect from a Ninja, now available on your iPhone. The Shogun Classic, Adamos listened to their audience and they brought back the Shogun Classic's feature of being able to have 4 SDI inputs into it to be able to mix and record. And then of course, Sun Dragon, which is their new light, which is super flexible. At NAB Vegas, they had this thing wrapped around a motorcycle. I'm really excited to see what they do with it at NAB New York. Next is BirdDog. We very recently had Dan from BirdDog join us for Sports Stream, and he was talking about BirdDog 2.0. Well, now you can go and you can see all of these cameras in person, including the MAKI Ultra, the X1 and the X1 Ultra, the X5, and the newly announced X4 Ultra, which is their truly wireless NDI PTZ camera with a built-in battery and antennas for Wi-Fi, utilizing NDI 6 and NDI HX3 to its fullest potential. Super excited to see that. Check it out at the Broadfield Pavilion, booth 711. Next is PTZ Optics. We are big fans of PTZ Optics. We had Paul Richards on not too long ago as well. They're going to be showing off the Move 4K and their brand new camera, the ZCam 4K, which is similar to the Studio Pro, except it's 4K compatible. They're also going to be demoing Hive Studio. We've had Paul Richards on our show twice demoing it. Very cool to see that in action. I highly recommend going to the Broadfield Pavilion booth and checking that out for yourselves to see how seamless it really is to be able to control your cameras from anywhere, all through a web browser. Next is JVC. JVC is going to be at Broadfield's booth, and they are going to be talking about showing off basically their entire line of products for a live streaming workflow. As you can see in this diagram here, this is what their booth is going to look like. They will have their brand new KYPZ 540 PTZ camera that has a 40x optical zoom. They're going to be showing off their flagship camera, PTZ camera, the KYPZ 510. They're going to have one of their camcorders in the HC500 series. They're going to have all of these connected to a KMIP12, which is their brand new 12-input 4K vMix turnkey production system. Controlling that production system is going to be their vMix controller, the RMLP350. They're also going to have their instant replay machine, the RMLP450. And then to control their PTZ cameras, they'll be showing off the RMLP5 and their flagship controller, the RMLP100. If you want to see this entire workflow all pieced together at NAB, highly recommend going to the Broadfield Pavilion booth at booth number 711. Next is LiveView. LiveView, we're big fans of LiveView here. We talk about the LiveView Solos a lot, but at the Broadfield Pavilion, they're going to be showing off their broadcast level equipment, including the LU300 and the LU800, as well as LiveView Studio. Now, we've also talked about this fairly recently with their lightweight production bundles. These lightweight production bundles allow you to pair either one LU300, two LU300s, or one LU800 with LiveView Studio to be able to do a pay-as-you-go system, to be able to have your cameras both be remote and then access to LiveView's LiveView Studio, which is their cloud-based switching software, which you can access from any computer with internet access and control via a web browser. We actually were live at Infocom earlier this year using two LU300s and LiveView Studio. It is something to worth seeing and getting your hands on. So definitely go see those in action. Really cool stuff. Next is Canon. Canon is going to be showing off some of their cameras, specifically their cameras that offer their wide dynamic range or high dynamic range, including their flagship PTZ camera, the CRN700, the CRN500, and then also the XA70, 75, and their flagship camcorder, the XF605. I'll give you a quick overview of what dynamic range is or wide dynamic range is. Basically, when you have your highlights and your lowlights, having a wider dynamic range allows you to see more into the highlights and more into the lowlights before you start clipping, your highlights getting overexposed and your lowlights just turning into black mush. So having cameras that have a wide dynamic range allows you to be more creative with your workflows and not have to worry about so much as hotspots on something like someone's head when you're live streaming. So very cool stuff. Check it out at the Broadfield Pavilion, the CRN700, CRN500, XA70, XA75, and the XF605. Next is Vizrt. Vizrt announced a whole bunch of stuff very recently. The biggest thing being the TriCaster Vizion. You will be able to see that for one of the first times in the United States, doing live demos throughout the day. This is their new flagship switcher, better than the TriCaster 2 Elite, so very excited to see that. Another thing that they announced recently is for the first time ever, TriCaster will be software-based. You can just purchase the software, subscription-based. They're going to have a list of compatible computers as well as minimum requirements and recommended requirements to run that software. Go see it, try it out for yourself, see the TriCaster Vizion in play. They're also going to have some of their hardware solutions, including the Connect Tetra, which is their NDI and bridge converter. They're going to have the PTZ3 UHDPLUS, which is their flagship 4K PTZ camera with auto tracking, very cool. The Flex Dual Control Panel, which is their, no pun intended, flexible control panel that allows you to customize all of the buttons on the controller to do what you want when you want it to. And they're also going to be demoing Virtual Studio Go. So lots of stuff to see from Vizrt. Check them out at the Broadfield Pavilion booth 711. Next is KiloView. KiloView we had on just last week. We talked about KiloView just last week. We had Logan, who is a workflow sales specialist. He joined us on that show, and we talked about the exact things that KiloView are going to be showing off, including, but not limited to, the P3, which is their cellular bonding device, the P3 Mini, another cellular bonding device, as well as their encoders and decoders, converters, NDI recorders, NDI distribution systems. They're going to be showing all of that stuff off. Get your hands on it. And like I said, We talked about the Kineview P3 and P3 Mini last week. Just to let you know, they are in stock and available at Videoguys.com, including the P3 Mini, which has the modems built in, and then the P3, which is a little bit more customizable. We've put some bundles together where you can get the P3 Mini with either two 4G modems, four 4G modems, or a combination of 5G and 4G modems, two of each. So if you have any questions about that, you can give us a call. You can see them in person at the Broadfield Pavilion, booth number 711, tomorrow and Thursday. Next is AVID. AVID is going to be showing off all the latest and greatest updates to AVID Media Composer, including Script Sync and Phrase Find, which is really cool stuff. They're also going to be showing off Media Central and Nexus, which is their network storage solution. So being, again, able to just see these things in person, get your hands on them. You don't want to miss out on that. Next is Matrox. Matrox is, they're really good at making converters into a SMPTE workflow. So being able to take a baseband signal and then convert it to a SMPTE workflow to be able to be used in a broadcast level workflow is something that is really cool. And they are going to be demoing the Matrox Monarch Edge, which is their latest converter. So super cool stuff that you definitely do not want to miss. We'll talk about SMPTE a little bit more with Panasonic later on. Next is Abson. Abson is a video display wall system that you can purchase. These are meant to go on giant buildings or inside stadiums, you know, that thing that's hanging in the center of a stadium. If you're doing concerts and you want to have display walls, Abson is super customizable when it comes to that. And just to show off some of that customization, at the Broadfield Pavilion, you will see not one, but two video walls. You'll see a 3-foot by 3-foot or 1-to-1 aspect ratio video wall, as well as a 6-foot by 3-foot, 16 by 9 aspect ratio video wall. In action, you'll be able to see how bright and colorful these screens are in person, and then you can really see that they are super customizable. They're even so customizable that you can have them wrap around pillars and things like that. Really cool stuff to, again, just see them. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't translate well through video. If you're able to go to the Broadfield Pavilion at NAB, highly recommend checking out these screens. They're really cool to see them in person. I wanted to talk about some of our other manufacturers that are going to be at NAB that will not be in our booth, but they will be at NAB. Starting off with Netgear. Netgear is our #1 solution when it comes to NDI troubleshooting, because they make network switches that are designed specifically to work in AV over IP workflows. Primarily, we here at Videoguys talk a lot about NDI, and these switches have presets for NDI, which is great with the M4250 series of switches, but then also with their M4350 series of switches, that's when you can start getting into those broadcast workflows with SMPTE workflows. They're going to be demoing off as well the Engage controller, which is the software that you can use to tell what port to do what, and you can really control your switch. And then they're also going to be showing off their wireless access points, which are brand new. So you can pair that along with something like the BirdDog X4, and again, having a truly wireless NDI workflow. This is some really cool stuff. I'm excited to see what people start doing with this. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to see those working together at the NAB show floor. So really cool stuff coming from Netgear. Next is Panasonic Connect. Now, we don't talk about Panasonic Connect too much, but Gary did do, I think about a month ago, he did a show talking about the Panasonic Connect Kairos live production system. Its big claim to fame is that you can have unlimited MEs, and you have this canvas that you can have, again, showing, exporting and displaying in, you know, not just 16 by 9 or 9 by 16 aspect ratios. You can have super unique aspect ratios. So really cool to see that in person as well. They're also going to be showing off some new cameras, including the UB50 and the UB10, as well as some of their other cameras. I would expect to see a UE100 or UE150 as well, and their PTZ line of cameras. So really cool. They're going to be right next to the Broadfield Pavilion. So if you're going to the Broadfield Pavilion, might as well go to the Panasonic Connect booth at number 611 while you're there. Next is SIS Professional. SIS Professional will be at booth number 628. They're going to be showing off their Pro Blade ecosystem, including the G-Drive project and the G-Raid mirror. The G-Drive project is that archive mass storage unit that you can get, and then the G-Raid mirror is their system, their two-base system that you can set to either be in RAID 0 for maximum speed or RAID 1, aka mirror mode, in order to have redundancies in place and have backups in place. And both of these are compatible. If you look in the picture here, you can see that these are compatible with the Pro Blade mags. So really cool to see those. Again, I sound like a broken record, seeing them in person, seeing how smooth that mag system really is. Last but not least, Facilis will be at booth number 910. They're going to be showing off their network storage solutions as well as Fast Cache and Fast Tracker. We got a demo a couple days ago from Jim McKenna at Facilis showing off the Fast Cache and being able to store cache files locally while you're doing editing, so you can still have the majority of those files be on your network storage, but then just saving those cache files locally to be able to not have any buffering when you're even using 4K 60p ProRes files through the network, and still being able to run those through whatever editing system that you want and not have to worry about any buffering whatsoever. All right, I think I did it. I think I'm looking at my clock here. I think I hit 15 minutes on the dot. That's perfect timing. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, or you're going to NAB and you have questions after NAB, feel free to give us a call, 800-323-2325. You can comment down below, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. And while you're down there, might as well subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a follow on Facebook. We'll be live next Tuesday to talk about Roland's line of switchers, their hardware switchers, including the V80 HD. Really excited to be talking about that next week. And until then, hope you have a great week. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.